Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I hope you're doing great. This episode is another listener-led episode, as in a listener asked me if I could do a podcast on this, and I thought I would. I'm actually going to shout her out because she asked me big and bold in my comments on LinkedIn. So she said to me she loves the podcast and she would love my help on answering this question. A lot of you that do ask me about specific episodes where I think of like my listeners and I lead with the questions you ask me in the DMs. So I always maintain your privacy. But if you ask me outright in my comments, which means everyone can see it, I feel like you get a shout out. So shout out to Catherine. This episode is led by the question that you asked me to tackle. So here we are. One of the main things she wanted to know was, how are you organising and managing a large workload, but also still keeping your career top priority, still having a strategy that keeps your career top of mind, forefront? We want to make that money. We want to be able to work less. We want to do all the things. What are your career goals? We all have different ones. But how do you maintain that when you're working in like a demanding environment, demanding corporate environment? It doesn't even have to just be corporate, because when I was a teacher, it was demanding. How do we still get what we want? So let's jump in to this episode. Let's start off. This is the first thing I'm going to say. Before I say anything else, prioritizing is key. We have to understand how to prioritize. And I'm assuming most of you listening know how to prioritize. But I'm going to touch on the things you should be prioritizing if you want a strategy to make sure your career goals get met and get met as quickly as you possibly can. But I'm also going to talk about within that how you manage your workload, because there's still things that have to get done that maybe you don't feel like they're advancing your career, but I'm going to teach you how they will advance your career. I'm going to tell you how I prioritize things or how I get things done. Just off bat, I love a Post-it. I love a Post-it. Like, I write things on Post-its. This is not the best way to keep organized, guys. I just want to say that, because I have loads of Post-its everywhere. Well, I used to, all over my desk. And then as I get them done, I will rip them up and throw them in the bin. That is so satisfying to me, because it means everything gets done. And unless all the Post-its are done, it means I haven't done all the stuff that I need to get done. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always days where there's stuff that didn't need to be done that day, like it wasn't really priority. But I just like the feeling of ripping up all the Post-its. So first, that's like one of my ways. I love it. One of my favorite things to do when you're prioritizing like a big workload, oh my gosh, do other people's work first. People always say to me, what are you talking about? Firstly, I don't want other people's work on my plate. And when I say other people, I mean, like your boss gives you a project or someone gives you an extra project, something extra on top of what you usually do, your normal day-to-day, because we all have a normal day-to-day that we do. Like, you go in, you know what you're going to do, check your emails, whatever it is, action certain things or things that you've already been working on. But then, you get them extra projects, extra tasks that need to be done. I'm doing them first. Not necessarily because they're the most priority, but because I want them off my plate. I don't want to be thinking about other people's work. And secondly, I do it to impress with speed. When I first started doing this, I didn't even know it was something that was impressive. I'm going to be really honest with you. I fell into the understanding that this is super impressive in corporate. Like I said, didn't know this was a thing. When you get other people's work done, your boss, for instance, or he's asked you to do a task that benefits the team, whatever it is, when you get it done well, remember, I'm all about quality. When you get something done well, but quickly and efficiently, your boss is like, oh, wow, thanks. Like, I've had bosses say to me, oh, yeah, I don't need it till Friday. You gave it to me on Monday, I gave it back to you Tuesday or Wednesday. Why? Because I wanted it off my plate so I could get on with what I want to get on with. Yeah, I could get on with the tasks that are going to help me advance my career further. However, this actually helped me advance my career because now my boss is impressed. I get things done. And I know some of you are screaming like, yeah, but Adele, if you do your work too quickly, they just give you more work. I get it. But we're going to talk about how to kind of avoid that trap. But sometimes it's not that you're better at your job than other people. You can just be faster. I'm quick. I can genuinely get done what a lot of people take 5 days to do in 3 days. Not because I'm better, because I've perfected it. That has helped me to get the same money for part-time work because I'm still doing the same amount of work as a 5 day person. But it's also helped me to progress. The reason I got to senior management, director level without a degree in human resources is because of me doing things like this. So, like I said, it's not necessarily that you always need to be better than someone else. Sometimes you just need to be faster and deliver high quality work. Um, and that also will make you missed. People underestimate this as well. How missed are you when you're not at work? Like when you go on annual leave and you come back, is everyone like, oh my gosh, there were so many questions I wanted to ask you. There were so many things that I felt like there were gaps. Everything was moving slower when you're not here. Ah, why? Because you're efficient. You get other people's stuff done quickly, plus you get your stuff done quickly, and it makes yourself missed. When you are missed, you become an asset. You already know how I feel about assets. And the proof is always in the pudding. Go back to listen to that episode. How becoming an asset is going to make you way more money and get you through this corporate world much, much easier and smoother. So, are you an asset? Are you missed? Next thing, big workload, to-do list. I'm not a big to-do list girl. Shall I tell you why? I write the to-do list and I say I'm going to tick it all off. And then somehow I turn the page and then write another to-do list and then realize I've got 2 or 3 to-do lists. For me, to-do lists don't work. However, I know a lot of people that use to-do lists the way I used to post it. You write out what you got to do, you tick it off. What annoys me about my to-do list is then the priority stuff, like something else will come in that's brand new, but it came in after I'd already written 5 things on my list. But actually now I need that thing to be at the top. And that's the way my brain works. I need to write it at the top so I know that it's priority, but I can't because there's not space. So now I've got to write it like in section 5 and then highlight it. And it just becomes a mess. And I don't like them. But I still use them. I'm not gonna lie. I still do have to-do lists written down. Calendars. If you're not utilizing your calendar, what are you doing? I put my priority stuff in my calendar. So I will put in my calendar, like, I'll block out something like a time and just be like, need to do XYZ, need to run report for blah, blah, need to do, and I'll put it on set days so it gets done. That's how it gets done. Alert comes up. It looks like I've got a meeting. I haven't got a meeting. I've got stuff to do. And saying that, one of the best things you can do is time block. Yeah. Time blocking is amazing. um, People don't need you in every meeting. Let's just be clear. People love a meeting. They love a meeting in corporate to talk about the next meeting, to talk about why you need to write a report for the other meeting. Everything, you don't need to be in every meeting. You need to be in key meetings with key people so they see your face. You need to network. You need to be there, but you don't need to be in every meeting. Therefore, I time block. So then when people are like, oh, they try and put something on my calendar, I'll be like, I'm not available between 10 and 12. Why? Because between 10 and 12, you can bang out a load of work. And when I say bang out, I mean get so much of your workload done because no one's disturbing you. It's quiet. Do not disturb. 2 hours of your time. Block it out. After that, do what you want. Join a meeting, take a break, take half an hour off, then time block again. You don't need to time block the whole day, but time block 2 sections a day. Bang out all your work. I promise you, time blocking will change your life because when you do that, the next day there's way less work to do because you time blocked and you hyper focused and you just got it done. So time block, another great way to prioritize your workload. Currently, what I like to do right now, because I use different prioritizing tactics when I've got large workloads, what I currently like to do is I make all the emails that I need to action unread. So I read them. Do I need to do it right now? No, unread. Um, so then it's in my box still as in it's brand new. So then I'm gonna have to read it again. So I'll have to go back to it. And then I highlight, I red flag everything that is priority. So I've got 6 things in my inbox that are highlighted red. They're all getting dealt with first because that means they need to be done. Then I'm going back through the unread. Saying that if I open an email and it is not priority, but it's something that will take me 1 second, I'm not marking it as unread. I'm literally responding right there and then, done. Take it out of my inbox. Because sometimes we do that. We ignore it because we're like, it's not priority, but it would have taken you 3 seconds. Do you see how you've now got off your plate? Because why are we going back to it? Going back to it suggests it's important. It's not important. And this is why we need to prioritize. If that could take a 5-minute response, I'm just responding. Get it out of my inbox. Get it out of the way. It's 5 minutes of my day. Sometimes it's 2 minutes of my day. Sometimes it's 30 seconds of your day, but you left it in there. You marked it as unread. Why? Prioritize. If you learn to prioritize your big workloads, it is going to be easier for you to do the next steps that I'm going to talk about. It is going to be easier for you to be able to make your career a priority, even when the workload is out of control, even when the workload feels out of control. Like I said, when I've got too much work, time blocking. I don't need to be in every meeting in everyone's face. I need to strategically be in the meetings that matter. So even if I can't be in that meeting, I was in the meeting before where all the managers were, they saw my face. I was in the meeting where all the clients were, they saw my face. I smiled, I spoke, I left an impression. I did enough that the next meeting, I'm like, really sorry, I can't be in it. Guess what? When you do enough in the meetings, when you're not available, people tend to reschedule. A lot of people will reschedule my meetings because they'll say to me, oh, but Adele, I really want you in this meeting. Why? Because I was personable. I had all the stuff they needed in the original meetings. So they will shift meetings. Now, FYI, I don't like when people shift meetings because I don't want to be in all the meetings. Like I said, sometimes the meetings are just for meeting's sake. You could have just emailed me that. It would have taken me 2 minutes and I would have actioned it and it would have got done. But a lot of you like FaceTime. So I'm here. I do it. As an introvert, I hate it, but I do it. Yeah, but if I can get out of it, I want to. But again, because I'm good in the meetings that I am in, they will reschedule meetings around my diary. This is how you prioritize a large workload. Because you've got people helping you now to prioritize your workload because they're respecting your time. Right. So we've talked about a little bit about prioritizing. Because like I said, my listener, she wanted to know, how do you keep organized and on top of big workloads and manage multiple projects with a strategy to keep putting your career on top of the list? So that was the question. That's what she wanted to know. How can we do that? Now, how do you use everything I've just told you and still keep your career top priority? Because sometimes you will get so caught up in getting the workload done that somehow your career and your progression and the money, it's all on the back burner. But you know you're working your butt off, but you're like, wait, I'm not being visible. No one's seen me. I'm not getting this promotion. What's happening? This is why. When I'm talking about prioritizing and all the things I told you guys to do, a lot of what I'm doing at work takes things off of your boss's plate or off of my boss's plate. Yeah. Or off the company's plate. I'm focusing on things that move the needle, things that impress, things that are helpful to them. How do you know if it's helpful to them? It's making them money. Let's be real. It's saving them money. It's making their teams better. It's making the whole processes more streamlined or more efficient. Like you're helping improve something. You're introducing software or AI or whatever it is that is automating parts of processes, therefore making it easier, better, smoother, meaning that we can make money quicker. We can save more money. We can get more customers. We can increase our brand name so that people know who we are. Our reputation gets bigger. People want to work with us. I have personally been able to build my own reputation through the work I've done for a company because the customers are like, we know if we ask Adele, Adele gets it done. The managers are like, we know if we ask Adele, Adele gets it done. The senior managers are like, we know if Adele gets it done. Who's this Adele we keep hearing about? She's the one who gets it done. Why? Because I take things off my boss's plate and my company's plate. So I'm going to go back to where I was saying to you, get people's work done quickly or off your plate. And I know a lot of you were screaming saying, yeah, but Adele, if you do that, the more work you do, the more they give you. Absolutely correct. No, you can't fall into this is a trap. And in my early career, definitely fell into it. Definitely still fall into it sometimes now because listen, when you're good at your job and you're quick at your work, people will want to give you more work. I use that to leverage more money, more promotions, more opportunities. I'm not going to keep doing everyone's work for long periods of time. It's not 5 years down the line, Adele's now asking for compensation. No. If you keep giving me more work, we're going to have more conversations in the next one-to-one. And eventually, either your boss is going to be like, oh, every minute Adele wants money. Every minute Adele wants to negotiate. I need to not give her all my work. But that never happens. Shall I tell you why? Because when people get used to you doing the work, they just want to give you the work. So you have to understand to be able to explain your capacity. So when I say I'm taking things off my boss's plate, is it two things, one of two things? Is it something that's going to help me be more liked? Again, we've spoken about likability. There are people way more experienced and qualified that get passed up for promotions because no one likes them. Are you liked? Is it going to help me be liked? That's the first thing I'm assessing. Second, is me taking this off their plate going to help me leverage my career? So am I going to be able to, leverage my skills for my career? Am I going to be able to leverage this opportunity for my career? So is it eventually in my next one-to-one going to help me get more money, a promotion, or I don't know, annual leave, more paid annual leave? What am I going to be able to use this for in the future? It might be something as simple as I'm going to leverage this to be able to get some extra days off because I've got things to do. I need to do some running around. And if I ask my boss, he's just going to say, go ahead and do it and pay me for it regardless. He's not going to put that down as like a day off or even half a day off. He's like, yeah, you always put in so much work. Don't worry about it. She's like, yeah, you always put in so much work. Just take the afternoon off. Let's go. How are you using it to your advantage? I'm not taking everything. So say my boss gives me something, I get it done. Then he comes back with some nonsense that I know is not moving the needle in my career. It's not going to help me in any kind of way. I might be like, do you know what? I don't even think I'm going to have time for that. And I'm going to list all the other things I'm doing that make the company money. Some of you will just be like, oh, I don't have capacity. Well, you know that means nothing to your boss or your company, right? I don't have capacity because I'm working on. That's what you need to do. If you are trying to grow and progress in your career, if you're trying to make more money in your career, I don't have capacity because the truth is I don't have capacity because this job is nonsense and it's not helping my career. That's why I'm not doing it. But I'm not saying that to you. I'm going to say to you, I really don't have capacity this week because I was working on these three things. And then I'm going to explain how they're going to be able to help us get 60% more customers or whatever it is. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing that's going to help the business, that's going to make us money or save us money, that's going to make us compliant. So you're like, okay, totally get it. Don't worry. I'll ask so and so to do it. Or, oh, Adele, I don't need it for a month. Fine. Suddenly you don't need it for a month. Cool, you're not getting it. But do you understand? This is how you don't fall into the trap. We're not falling into the trap of being rewarded with more work for good work. Like just because you do all the work, now you're being rewarded with more work. We're not falling into that trap. But you have to think about how you don't fall into the trap because you still need to use some of that to your advantage. Yeah. Also, when you take things off of your boss or your company's plate, it is a subtle networking hack. It is a hack that not many people realize. You are networking because guess what? I'm taking things off of my boss's plate. They now like me. They're now introducing me to more senior managers, saying, yeah, oh, that was great. She did X, Y, Z. Oh, networking. I'm meeting other people in the company and getting FaceTime with people that could one day leave and go somewhere else, but they remember me, they know me. I now have an opportunity somewhere else. Or they may start to like me and they may say to my boss, oh, we've got this exciting thing coming up. Have you ever thought of putting Adele forward for it? Do you see? It's a subtle networking hack. Because you're taking things off their plate, you're now likable. Your likability is opening more doors and more rooms, and you're subtly networking with the right people. You're talking to the right people, the decision makers, the people that can actually help progress your career. So, this is how we tie the prioritizing into getting our career where we want it to be. What work will get you recognized and helps you progress in your career? I just spoke about it. Make money, save money. I talk about the same things all the time. Nothing changes, guys. Companies care about the same things: profit. Profits are made by streamlining processes, automating processes. Profits are made by gaining more customers or holding on to the customers you have, or both at the same time, which is much better. Profits are made when we grow a company's brand and they're more well known because they get opened up to new audiences. New audiences mean new buyers, new opportunities, new clients, whatever it is. Making systems better, making teams better. You're only as good as the weakest person on your team. I say that all the time as a manager. It don't matter if I've got three amazing people. If that fourth person is really bad at their job, we all are judged at that level because we have to clean up the fourth person's mess. We have to always be running behind that fourth person. Therefore, you're only as strong as your weakest team member. How are you helping that team member to get as efficient and as good as the other three people, especially if you're in management or leadership? How are you as a colleague, if you're really good at your job, helping that person to get up to scratch, to get up to your level, so you can use that as leverage to get a promotion? Because look, you're already managing people before you need to. You're already making processes better, even when no one's asked you. That's another thing as well. A lot of you keep going to your bosses with problems. Go to your boss with solutions. I will message my boss and say, just an FYI, this happened. I did X, Y, Z, so it's all good, but just in case it comes up in future conversation. Half the time I know it's not going to come up in future conversation. I'm being visible. I'm letting you know this how good I am. I'm letting you know this was the issue. I fixed it. And because of that, we ain't losing no money today. Or because of that, I'm helping to keep our contracts running nicely and smoothly and our clients are happy. Visibility. Visibility doesn't always need to be verbal. We talk about, oh, what's the point in doing a good job if no one knows about it? Because then you're not getting promoted. You're not getting what you want in your career. You can let someone know what you're doing with a simple email. Simple FYI. A simple, we had this problem, this is what I did. Sometimes I'll be like, I had this problem, this is what I did. What are your thoughts? Because sometimes you need your boss to feel like they're needed. And they might be like, oh, okay, I think what you did was really good. I wouldn't add to it. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll add this too. I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing idea. Likability, never forget to be liked. So I'll be like, amazing idea. Even if I think the boss's idea isn't that amazing. And actually they're just piggybacking off of what I've already done. That's fine. Every now and again, throw you a bone. Sorry, I'm laughing because I genuinely have had some of the best bosses. But I also know that as someone who knows what they want from their career, I know how to maneuver around all of those bosses. I know how to maneuver in a space where even when I don't have the greatest boss, I'm letting things be known and I'm showing up. And I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about all the times when I've done these things. So yeah, what work will you get recognized for and what will help progress your career? We've spoken about it. What is least important and can wait? A lot of you don't want to do all the things, but you don't want to look at things and be like, you know what, this can wait until next week. I will look at my list and be like, right, these ones can wait till next week. They're not moving my career. They're not helping necessarily with the likability factor. They might a little bit, but they're not really doing as much as the other things are going to do for me. They're not really moving the needle, but they have to be done. If they don't have to be done this week, why am I doing it? Why am I not doing all the other things that we've spoken about and doing this next week? And some of you are going to say, because then more things will come in next week. Are the more things that come in more nonsense or more priority stuff? Because again, we get overwhelmed with these workloads because we're like, everything's a priority. Everything's not a priority. Can it wait till next week? Can it wait till 4:30 and can I get the things done between 4:30 and 5? Can I do all my greatest work through the day and then between 4:30 and 5 can I get most of this unwanted nonsense done? Can it wait? You're not getting any awards for it. People barely notice when it gets done. You know what I'm talking about. There's certain reports and stuff that help you do your job, but they don't actually move needles or impress anyone. They can wait. They're not priority. So, like I said, what are you prioritizing? Everyone is different, but these are just some of the things that I do. These are some of the things I've seen top talent do to progress and move forward. You do not always have to be the best to move forward. You can be the most likable. Listen, the most experienced person don't get the job. I'll say that. I will always bet my career on that. The most experienced person doesn't get the job. The most qualified person doesn't get the job. The person who is perceived as someone who will make the company money or make the company profit in some sort of way is the person who gets a job. The person who is most liked is the person that gets a job. Why do you think so many people get looked over and you have people in rooms that you're like, how is this person even my manager? They're not even good at the job. Someone liked them. That was all. Someone liked them enough to give them that promotion and give them that title. How well are you like to do the same? Listen, if you are great at your job and liked, that's a winning combination. It's finished for everyone else around you. Finished. You will be unliked by some people that are around you because they're jealous. You will be liked by the people that matter. You will be known by the decision makers. So when you're thinking of your career and your workload, are you making sure that the work that you're doing is being recognized and seen by decision makers? Like I said, sometimes it can be as simple as an email. FYI, this was the problem. This is how I solved it. Email. Oh, hi. I noticed something recently on this report. Have you ever thought of adding X, Y, Z? I could have just added it and got it done. I know that it's good. I know that it's going to work, but I'm asking, I'm telling you, I have visibility. I want you to see what I do so that when appraisals time comes around, you give me the full percentage of whatever the company offers. Like, your bonus, sometimes they'll sometimes say, oh, your salary's been increased by 2 and 5%. I want the whole 5%. When it comes to one, and I want that extra pay rise 6 months after I've already done my appraisal, I need the receipts. I need you to remember all the things I've done. And just as a reminder, keep notes of all the things that you've done because it's very easy to forget when it comes time for appraisals. I've said this before. Keep a list somewhere, whether you have it electronically, whether you have it in your phone, whether you have it written down. I have a book where I try and write a lot of stuff in. I forget to write stuff in, but I do try and write it down. Why? When I'm having a bad day, I go and look at it and remind myself who the F I am and why I came here. Like, what did I come to this job for? Remember your job, yeah? When you get your job, it's an even exchange. You're supposed to get a return on your investment. You're investing your time, your energy, your good work ethic. Yeah? What are you getting in return? It shouldn't just be to pay your bills. What I'm getting in return is I want a good environment. That's a given. But more than that, I want some time freedom. I want some trust. I want some extra money. I want some money so I can create passive income, help my mom, help my daughter, whatever it is I want to do with that money. I want to be able to build the life that I want. I'm trading my time for the life that I want. I'm showing up every day at work so I can create the life that I want. I'm building a certain type of career because that feeds the life I want. Otherwise, why am I there? I remind myself daily, why did I come? What did I come for? What makes me impressive? How did I get this job in the first place? How have I kept this job for this long? Sometimes you need a reminder, so make sure you're keeping lists. So shout out again to Catherine, because I hope that this has really helped you in the sense of how do you manage the workload, but how do you still keep your career as a priority? Do you know what you want from your career? That's also really important. And maybe I should have said that right at the start. Success is different for all of us. What do you want long term from your career? Like when I started to get really serious about what I knew I wanted long term, and long term for me, like if we go back to like 2015, 2016, was being able to retire way before I was 50 in the sense of, and this is part retirement, not full retirement. I wanted to work less days, but not lose money. That to me is like part retirement. I might be using the wrong terminology, but that's how I see it. Yeah. Never wanted to be able to retire fully, but I wanted to be able to, just work a couple of days a week, 2 days, 3 days a week. Nice. But still make enough money that I was making when I was working 5 days a week. Didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew long term that's what I wanted. I always know long term that I love to travel. I love to be in a different country. I love 5-star experiences also. I don't just want to be in another country. I want to be in the nicest hotels, eating the nicest food, seeing the nicest things, traveling in style. Not going to lie to you. Not going to sit here and say to you, that's not what I want. That's what I want. So long term, I was like, that's another goal. I want to be able to make, before my daughter got into uni, I wanted to be able to make sure I had money away for that time. Didn't know how, but I knew I wanted to do it. At the same time, wanted to have an emergency fund, a savings fund, and an investment fund. Didn't know how back then, but knew I wanted to do it. So do you know what you want from your career in the first place? Because then it's easy to identify what things are going to get me there quicker. And all the things I've told you in this episode are going to get you there quicker. So this is how you manage a huge workload, but you still ensure that you're doing some subtle networking, you're likable, you're in the right people's faces, you're doing the right work, and you're making sure you're getting recognized for it. Like I said, if you're not getting any awards for it and people barely notice it, it can wait. So yes, I'm talking to you right now, the person who's about to go and do all the things, and about 7 of those things are not necessarily. 3 of those things are necessary, and they're the ones that are going to move the needle today. So go and get those done. And for the rest of you, start trying to time block. Come back and let me know how some of the things that I do or some of the things I've spoken about have helped you after you tried using them. So whether it was post-its, whether it was time blocking, whether it was the email thing that I said to you where you flag some and then you put the rest as unread, whether it was getting other people's work done quickly first so you can get it off your desk, like come back and let me know how you found it. Let me know if you're already using those techniques, but maybe you're not realizing that you can leverage them, and this episode has helped you to figure out that you can leverage them. Remember, if you need support in your career to build your confidence, to actually get the career that you want, to figure out your next move that will connect you to your next move that's going to help you achieve your long-term goals, life and career goals, book a call with me so we can chat and we can see if coaching with me is going to work for you and if we're a good fit. And if we are, let's do the damn thing. Anyway, thank you for the question from my listener. And if any of you have questions that you want me to answer in an episode, drop me a message in my DMs or be bold, comment on one of my posts and tell me that, you know what, Adele, I love your podcast. Can you do an episode on XYZ? And if I can do an episode, I will. And if I've already got an episode, I'll tell you what number it is so you can go ahead and find it and listen to it. Anyway, I will speak to you guys in the next episode. Have a good week. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.